SMR Podcast Network. You should be listening. What's going on, everybody? RWT family, SMR podcast listeners. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to be back because it's fucking retro, for goddamn sake. Retro Rewind back with a pay-per-view nonetheless. WWFs In Your House Buried Alive, October 20th, 1996 from Indianapolis, Indiana. But can I just first say that, I'm really happy to be back. This is, it's fun to be able to watch old wrestling again and take my notes and have fun. And trust me, I had fun, believe it or not, with this one. So we're in for a bit of a treat. The show starts out with a video package of Mankind of the Undertaker. And then, of course, we got commentary of Vince McMahon, Jerry the King Lawler, and JR. It's advertised as a special Friday episode. I honestly have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. JR, for some reason, doesn't have a mic. Vince offers his, and then they cut right to Hunter's entrance as they try to, hand the mic over to him. Vince informs us that during the pre-show, Farouk got hurt and won't be competing for the Intercontinental belt later tonight against Mark Mero. Instead, Goldust will take his place. King says that Oddman should be suspended for life for returning and costing Farouk the match and putting him out of action. So, for the, insider, if you will, on their little pre-show that it is, Oddman Johnson came in out of nowhere because he's, my kidney's not broke or whatever, and he attacks Farouk and took him out. And so, yeah, pretty plain and simple. Kevin Kelly's in the back with Steve Austin. Steve Austin was supposed to face Savio Vega again, but apparently he's hurt, so he's got to take on Hunter. Kevin asked him, he says, does Hunter, does facing Hunter instead of Savio change your game plan? Austin says no, because he has a list with everybody's name on it. He says he knows for a fact that there isn't anything wrong with Savio, but he gives Hunter all the credit in the world because he has the guts to face me. Then he brings up Bret Hart's return on Raw and says that he hopes his announcement is him coming out of retirement. Otherwise, he wants to finish what he started, and if anyone has an issue with my language, they can kiss my ass. Which I fucking love that. So we get Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, and my immediate notes are, holy shit, Stone Cold got his music. The fucking glass break, the whole nine. Okay, I fucking marked out. Literally put me in, the best mood to watch this match. I don't know why. I really don't know. But nostalgia, baby. Hell of a drug, I'll tell you that much. So, already the fucking half of the goddamn focus of this match is on the commentary team, which kind of makes me mad, but at the same time, it was building towards something. It builds towards this thing that JR constantly has an issue with Vince McMahon. So what it is they're going back and forth, and he feels like he's being sabotaged. And in this instant, he's actually feeling like he's being sabotaged with his fucking headset because it starts acting all funny. He tells Vince, I think I'm being sabotaged here. And then we go to the action. Hunter gets a takedown. JR all of a sudden gets a new headset. So they make their way outside, and, they're brawling out there, and they're brawling towards the crowd. And I seem to spot these fans. Some of these fans just fucking stick out to me. And the first guy that stuck out to me looked like Wayne Campbell if he ate Garth. You know what I mean? Picture Wayne Campbell, but fat. And not Mike Myers. Fucking, that was the guy. All right? That was fucking hilarious. And he could not be denied. Guys, sit up fucking front. All right? All night long. And to make things, I guess, better, maybe worse, Fucking King is all like, hey, what's wrong with that lady? I fucking laughed, okay? I could not help myself. So they're standing around waiting for God knows what, and then the fans start chanting for Mr. Perfect. Hunter slaps Austin, and Austin returns fire with a punch right to the jaw. Austin starts working over Hunter's arm, and JR tells Vince that's, it's called a wrist lock. You know what I mean? And Hunter responds with an eye poke, and Vince asks JR, like, what's the technical term for that? And I'm just like, can y'all stop fucking taking jabs at each other? But I like it. But I don't, because it's taken away from the match. All of a sudden, Hunter is all over Austin. He gets his second near fall and then goes for a chin lock, and JR's mic starts sounding like he's on fucking live AM radio, just really wonky. They trade sleeper attempts, and when Hunter reverses Austin's sleeper, he gets another, hits one with a jawbreaker and follows up with his old finisher, the stun gun, and a second rope forearm. Hunter doesn't stay down, comes right back up with some aerial offense, and then gets basically like they're both guys are down. Mr. Perfect all of a sudden comes in. He's fucking beelining it, and it's only for fucking Hunter's lady, and sure shit, that's exactly what he does. So he's beelining it towards Hunter's lady, and he does is wave her over, and fucking she's gone. And I'm like, well, you know what? That's kind of not the girl you want. You know what I'm saying? Austin bumps into Perfect and tells him, fucking get the fuck out of here. He literally tells him, like, hey, dude, fucking, like, what are you doing? Get out of here. And I just died. I died with utter laughter. And Perfect tells him, he says, don't get in my face. He's, and then all of a sudden, Perfect, they have a fucking spat. Includes Perfect getting water thrown on him, or soda, I should say. Hunter gains the advantage. And then fucking Hunter's got this thing won, right? Okay. He's got Austin set up in the pedigree. And all of a sudden, he decides, no, I gotta go get this broad. So he, like, just lets it go. And he goes chasing after the girl, which blew my mind. Austin doesn't want it to end like that, so he gives chase. They work for a suplex. Hunter ends up suplexing Austin onto the concrete, and the ref's yelling at him to get back in the ring, but instead, Hunter goes for the pedigree on the concrete, and Austin reverses it, slingshots Hunter into the post, and they barely make the count. Austin flips Hunter off, kicks him in the gut, hits the stunner. Austin calls out Bret Hart on his way to the back because, he picked up the win. When you hit the stunner, it's over, player. Gave it a 3.5. Austin really knows how to turn it on when he needs to, you know what I mean? And it looks crazy to see how much they're pushing him. Just like they're pushing this guy to the fucking moon, bud. They gave him the new music. He's got the cool gimmick. You know what I mean? He did the whole flipping off. He's the first guy out there swearing. You know what I mean? And, of course, the badass finisher in the stunner. As for the match, it was slow, kind of stale at first. Perfect comes out, and then shit hits the fucking fan. And it felt like I watched something out of 1998. Instead, it was 96. And Hunter finally looked good, but it wasn't against a jobber. So, hey, good for you, motherfucker. Video package of how Billy stole Sonny and their tag team titles from Phineas and Henry Godwin. Then we see how it all fell apart. And now the Guns have a shot at recapturing the gold and maybe even Sonny's heart. Doc Hendrick interviews the Guns and says, without Sonny around, do you think you can regain your focus and capture the tag team titles for the 4th time? Billy says, how do you know she's not here? After I win the tag team titles, she'll come back to me. And Bart reminds him that it's you and me, that are going to win the tag team titles. And Billy says, yeah, whatever. And then they just fucking go to the ring, and I'm just like, oh my God, this guy is just whippity redonkulous. So we get it's the World Tag Team title match. Smoking Guns versus Bulldog and Owen Hart. I keep forgetting about Clarence Mason. Maybe it's this freaking little break that I have. Goddamn, Clarence Mason comes out with the champs, and King says he's so smart. He didn't even finish law school. He settled out of class. I laughed. Fucking King sometimes kills me, okay? I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's fresh or I don't remember it. It's great right now. I'll tell you that. So I'm noticing that Owen got a haircut. Then, of course, JR points it out because whatever. And then Owen gets laid out with a clothesline. Billy goes for a top rope axe handle. Gets avoided. Gets double teamed. We cut to the back and Sonny is in the back watching the match on a monitor. Bulldog gets caught by Bart and gets power slammed. Bulldog responds with a crossbody and then tags in Owen, hits a missile drop kick. Again, we cut to Sonny. And King says, come on, Beatty, just come out here and wink at me. I'll do the rest. And I'm like, whoa, bub. Whoa. So guess what? She ends up winking and he just starts going bananas. Just absolutely, like he freaking just loses his shit. It's kind of gross. Also hilarious. Bulldog and Billy are yelling at each other. And Owen throws Bart into the ropes. That knocks Billy off the apron. It's a double Russian leg sweep by the Guns. Billy follows up with an elbow and tells the ref to shut up. And then Bart hits a swinging neckbreaker for a near fall. It looks like these guys have this thing won. Bart splashes Owen in the corner, but as they go for their finish, Bulldog pulls Bart out of the way. Owen quickly hits the spin kick, or the leg lariat, and pins Billy. It was not too bad. Bart and Billy keep fighting. I mean, that's their whole story. Or they're fucking fighting amongst each other because of pussy. So I gave it a 2.5. Owen and Bulldog look good. King was hilarious on commentary. Hilarious. Guy is going to get me in trouble, maybe. I don't know. He's not a distraction, but he's definitely a fun part to watch in these WWF shows. Because some of these matches suck. Trust me. We cut to the Superstar Hotline, or the Superstar Line, whatever the fuck they call it, and Hunter is giving some fan the business. Like, you don't tell me no shit about losing to fucking Stone Cold. And I'm just like, whatever. It's like, fuck what they say, but whatever. So, as Vince and King are talking about Odd Man Johnson attacking Farouk, JR jumps on the microphone, jumps in the ring, and says he promises Bret Hart will be on Monday Night Raw. Vince gets upset and says that JR is taking credit for bringing him back, and JR immediately says that I went to South Africa and talked to him. Did you go? No, you didn't. JR says that Bret has a lot to say to a lot of people, including Vince and you fans. Bottom line is Bret will be uncensored tomorrow night, so since the billionaire is messing with the mics, and since you talk out of both sides of your mouth, you need 2 mics, so you can take mine, and I'll see you tomorrow night on Raw. And then we cut to an interview with Farouk, and then Oddman says that Farouk cost him something very close to him, and he's going to get payback. You don't know when, you don't know how, but it's coming. Very cliche. Then we cut to a room where Oddman appears to be completely laid out, and Farouk is just like standing there with a bat. I'm like, or vice versa. Oddman's standing there with a bat, like, I'm like, what the? I'm like, I want to like Oddman, I do, but it's like, I don't know. It just something about this, like shoot little rivalry they have with each other is kind of like weird. But whatever. So Mr. Perfect comes out and tells, and JR is with him, and he's walking towards the commentary table, and King warns him about the headset, and he says he doesn't care, and everybody knows why I'm out here. It's to watch the Intercontinental Championship match, and then says all of his frustrations will be taken out on Hunter tomorrow night, and yeah. I think even Vince told him something about his mic, and he's like, I don't give a shit about my mic. He really didn't care. He was just like, yeah, you better not sabotage me. Because, from the stories we've been hearing about Perfect, he'll fucking do some stuff to you. Like, if he's down to fight Brock Lesnar. Anyways, so Vince interviews Miro before the match. And he reminds him that Miro has never beaten Goldust, so because Farouk was hurt during the pre-show, Goldust gets his shot at the IC title. Perfect is still very upset about Austin throwing a soda in his face, and he says that he's going to take all that out on Hunter come Monday. Miro keeps Goldust grounded for the most part as he hits every variation of an arm drag. Goldust comes back and then decides to spit in the face of Miro. That just makes Miro mad, and he goes on the offensive, hitting a senton from the outside, follows up with a slingshot leg drop for a near fall. Miro gets caught climbing the turnbuckle. Goldust sends him crashing down with a one-arm powerbomb. King asks Perfect if he has more interest in the IC title or Sable, because he's always out taking, Hunter's ladies and all that. King says he wants to know because what he's done with all those women he's taken from Hunter. Of course, a gentleman never kisses and tells. That's what Perfect says. So, the match is dragging along as Perfect and King are just going at it on commentary. So fucking King tells Perfect, I passed on that suit when I saw it at Kmart. And Perfect says you only passed on it because the blue light special wasn't on. And I'm like, are you motherfuckers buying suits from Kmart? I mean, maybe that was a thing in the 90s, but like, what? Goldust grabs the mic and tells the crowd to shut the hell up or he's going to go make out with everybody. And I'm just like, what?
Shut the hell up!
He's going to do commentary while he wrestles.
You don't shut up right now! I'm going out there personally and I'm going to stick my tongue!
All right, we don't need to hear any of this.
Miro hits a moonsault on Goldust. They end up outside. Hunter comes out. Goldust tries to blindside Perfect, but it doesn't work. Miro ends up hitting a Samoan drop, then the shooting star press for the win. So, I mean, it could have been better in someone else's eyes, but for me, this was like an extended match on Monday Night Raw. Miro does good work, and normally Goldust does too, but this match drowned out by them plugging Raw's main event and Hunter versus Perfect, and it got so stale that the crowd wasn't even into it. That's why Goldust had to grab the fucking mic. I gave it a 1.5. Probably being nice. Video package showing both Sid and Vader using the powerbomb. And apparently Vader wanted to sue Sid for using the move, according to the announcer. Sid has a more dangerous powerbomb, and Vader has a more powerful powerbomb. Shawn Michaels says that he's taken both men's powerbombs, and he was knocked out by both of them, so they're equally effective. Jim Cornette says that Vader will go through Sid like X-Lax through a widowed woman. I laughed so hard, and I wanted to make sure that that's what he said. I had to rewind it, and I laughed even harder the second time.
He's going to go through you like X-Lax through a widow woman.
I can't. It was Jim Cornette sometimes. I tell you what. Winner of the match gets a shot at Shawn for the world title at Survivor Series in New York City, where they're also going to do the, I think, the Hall of Fame ceremony. Yeah, that was right. So speaking of that match, that's this match. Number 1 contenders match, Psycho Sid versus Vader. We get ourselves a horse battle. Horse Madan. And don't let the gut of Vader fool you. He is a powerful sumbitch. And it's obvious just to see how big Sid is, not only in height, but in size. And Shawn Michaels hits the ring, chills ringside, shakes his hands, and then tells Vader that Sid is going to set him down. Shawn then takes Cornette's hanky, blows his nose, and throws it onto the ground. When Cornette bends over, Corny, if you will, Shawn gives him a nice old swift kick in the ass, and then the match starts. So King asks Shawn if he'll ever cut his hair, and he says no because it draws attention. And Sid tries a sunset flip, but Vader decides to just cave his chest in by sitting on it. Sid comes back with a belly-to-back suplex, and Vince is beside himself on how he's able to get Vader up. So first off, I fear every time I see Sid get onto the second rope. And on this instance, he goes for a crossbody, but Vader catches this monster of a man on his fucking shoulders and then sends him crashing to the mat. And I'm like, holy hell. Vader climbs to the second rope, hits a splash, but pulls Sid up at 2, then climbs the turnbuckle and wants to go for the Vader bomb, but Sid gets his knees up, hits a scoop slam. Vader sets him up for a power bomb, but then Sid sets him up for a power bomb, but Vader fights out. Cornette is climbing in the ring, so Sid hits the ropes. It ends up crotching Cornette, so he goes down, and now the ref is checking on Cornette. Why? I have no fucking idea. Sid goes for the power bomb, but because the ref has his back turned, Vader hits a low blow on Sid and tries the power bomb, but Sid fights out of it because he's so goddamn over, hits choke slam, and gets the 1-2-3. I enjoyed this match. Cornette interfering is something we all knew was going to happen, and it ended up being a bit random, though, like when he jumped in. It just, I don't know, it felt weird. Maybe somebody was hurt. I felt like maybe they needed to go home, you know what I mean? Something felt like this came to an end somewhat abruptly, but that did not mean I did not enjoy this match. It was awesomely fun. I gave it a 3. I'm always a fan of a hoss battle. After the match, we see Sid and Shawn have some words, and they end up shaking hands before Shawn leaves the ring. And Doc Hendricks is in the back waiting for Sid. Vince cuts Doc off and to plug ticket sales, and Doc asks Sid a cookie-cutter question. That's when JR jumps in with his own microphone and asks Sid the hard questions. First, he brings up how Sid was a bodyguard for Shawn Michaels at one point. Sid does not deny this. JR asks him, will you do whatever it takes to beat Shawn Michaels at Survivor Series? Sid replies, yes, I will do anything to prove that he is the master and the ruler of the world. He stumbles through it. You just gotta listen to this.
What's your question, little man?
I want to ask you a question. Were you not at one time Shawn Michaels' best friend as bodyguard?
Yes, I was.
Did you powerbomb him 5 times on Raw?
Of course I did.
Will you do anything you can, including breaking his back, to become the WWF champion at Survivor Series?
The question is simple. Whoa. Yes, I will. I will do anything I have to go to my destiny and make my conquer to prove that I am the man. I am the master and the ruler of the world.
Thank you, Sid. Go ahead, Doc. Good job.
So, I'm glad you guys thought that was hilarious. I know you thought that was hilarious. So, we get a video package building Mankind versus The Undertaker's rivalry, and it's being relived. The whole Paul Bearer screw job and everything. And then now we get to the main event. Buried Alive match, Mankind versus The Undertaker. And Vince lets us know this is an unsanctioned match, a.k.a. they are not at fault in case something happens. There is a tombstone marked Buried Alive with the date on it. They start out by trading blows. Taker kicks Mankind off the apron, sends him crashing into the steel barricade, head first. Well, back of the head first. And it looked terrible. I screamed in horror. Okay? Screamed in horror. Like, I knew this was going to be a brutal match when I first started it. Like, not brutal, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I knew this rivalry is intense. I know that the guys, like, they know they go out there and they do real work. And Mick is willing to be, you know, extrally put his body on the line. Kind of craziness. So, I did not expect that. And that hurt. There's a top rope splash by Taker. And then it's just crazy to see how fast this big fucker moves, you know what I mean? Like, he's doing high-risk stuff, like, with ease. It's, you know what I mean? Granted, I know it's 96, okay? It's just, wow, okay? This is why I started to fall in love with this stuff. So they quickly move to the top of the pile, and that's the thing. They're going back and forth all night long. Like, they start up there, but then they end, Mankind would, like, head up that way, and then Taker would be like, no, I'm going to beat your ass in the ring a little more. So they're starting to fight, and they're barely, like, trading blows or whatever. And Taker uses a small package, and they kind of just, like, roll down the hill. And I'm like, well, that's one way of getting away from the grave. And now they're fighting ringside. Taker chokes him with a mic cord, and now they're fighting in the crowd. And Taker whips him into the barricade, and then this fucking guy runs and fucking clears this barricade. It's good 4 feet tall. And hits this diving clothesline, and I yelled, holy fuck, Taker can move. Top rope clothesline by Taker. Goddamn, or attempt I should say, because goddamn Paul Bearer hits the fucking ropes and crotches Taker. Now Mankind's on the offensive. This is when Paul Bearer hands Mankind what I swear is a spike. So he starts stabbing Taker in the fucking head, and I'm just like, okay, there's no blood, but ow. Okay, this fucking wood. I mean, I know the glancing blows, but the idea of getting stabbed with a blunt object like that, like fucking shit, man. So, Taker hits like his back elbow, right? And all of a sudden, Mankind drops the spike. And Taker decides, well, I'm going to pick this thing up and swing the fuck out of it. Okay? He throws a punch while holding this thing and lands a great shot to like the back of Mankind's head with the spike. Taker chases after Paul Bearer, and Paul Bearer uses the urn as a weapon, and Taker no-sells it, but then turns around, faces Mankind, eats a chair shot right to the fucking face, no hands. Brutal. They're fighting their way back to the grave, and there's a kid literally almost falling out off the barricade just so he can touch the wrestlers, and I'm like, dude, calm the fuck down. Somebody control your fucking child. Mankind and Taker start fighting inside of the grave. Mankind throws dirt in Taker's eyes, and he tries to hip toss him into the grave, but Taker reverses him and then hip tosses him onto the floor. And there's a big DDT spot. We see Taker Mankind cover Taker, and then he yells at the ref, "You gotta bury him." And so I was like, well, yeah, no shit. So he starts to freak out. Then Taker does, of course, the sit-up, lands big shots from the knee on his knees, mind you. Mankind grabs that chair that he used earlier and he places it beside him, hits double arm DDT on Taker. He pops up, chair in hand, lands a big shot to the back, then places it over his head and hits a leg drop. Mankind then rolls outside and he starts to regain himself and starts tearing up the pads surrounding the ring and tries to pile drive Taker on the concrete, but Taker ends up picking up Mankind in like a reversal, and he has him like literally upside down. Okay, like he looks like he's gonna hit not the buckshot, the oh my god, the reverse pile driver is what I'm pretty sure it's really called, but whatever the hell Hangman's other finisher is. Anyway, and rather than do that, he just like runs him into the fucking post or into the steps, and then fucking sits on his face. And I'm like, ow, that fucking hurt. So they're back in the ring, and Taker grabs the steel steps, throws them right at Mankind's face. Then he hits the tombstone pile driver, then points at the grave. The crowd goes bananas, rolls Mankind pretty much like onto the apron, grabs his lifeless body, throws him over his shoulder, and they pretty much walks him right to the grave, and just he's able to just toss him in there. Mankind, before he gets like fully submerged in dirt, he applies the mandible claw. Paul Bearer throws Mankind in the urn, waits too long. Taker goozles him, choke slams him into the grave, then starts pouring dirt all over Mankind, and then that's when the ref declares Undertaker the winner. But Undertaker refuses to stop burying Mankind. Taker throws a couple of refs aside as he's doing so, and then we see some giant dude in a mask blast Undertaker with a shovel, and they start unburying Mankind. And this fucking masked nerd rolls Taker over into the grave and starts covering him in dirt, and the lights start flickering, and as all this shit's going on, and they show the grave completely covered in dirt, and then we see Goldust and Bradshaw, and I think it was fucking Crash was out there helping fill the hole, and fans are chanting rest in peace, and hoping that he'll rise from the grave, but the hole just gets more and more full. So they go on until there is no more dirt left to pour, and that's when the sounds of thunder start crackling through the speakers, and everyone is looking around for Undertaker to jump out of somewhere, maybe through the ring or out of your soda machine. Before Mankind walks off, he plunges the shovel into the grave, and then we see lightning hit the gravestone, and the last image we see is the Undertaker's hand pop out of the dirt, showing signs that you cannot kill the dead man. I gave it a fucking 5 stars. I don't know, call it nostalgia, call it brutality. I really fucking enjoyed it. I think lowball, I was going to give it like 4 3/4, but I really enjoyed it, like the whole everything. So I'm giving it a 5. I'm sold. What a fucking match. I knew about the history, but seeing it blew me away. The brutality, the intense rivalry, and of course, the burial itself. All great. Fucking love this match. I don't know who the mask guy is, but I'm mad fucking curious. I'll tell you that much. So I don't know if this is the first 5-star match in the history of Retro, but I'm sure it is as far as pay-per-views. Unless I did an AEW pay-per-view, then you're probably fucked there. Anyway, so in the past, in your house pay-per-views, there's basically like one good match, and there's but for this one, there was actually 3. The opener was great, kind of a fuck finish, but I still enjoyed it. Vader versus Sid was a great Haas battle. I love watching that, and then of course the main event. This was actually a damn fun watch. I kind of can't wait for another retro WWF pay-per-view. I know that's probably weird to hear me fucking say that, but believe it or not, like I said, this was really fun, and I can't really wait to do the next one. And I believe the next pay-per-view is Survivor Series. So, and I know how that one goes down, or at least in the main event. So, I fucking kind of can't wait, but I want to thank you guys for joining me, as I hope we can continue on our way down the Attitude Era with a more consistent fucking schedule, because that's what I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to work on consistency here, baby. Consistency is key. But I'll let you know this. Besides another regular episode of Retro Rewind where you're going to get both Raw and Nitro, our next pay-per-view is WCW's Halloween Havoc 1996, where the main event is Hogan and Savage for the WCW World Title, or the NWO World Title, if you will. So, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you guys for listening. I don't have a fun ad just yet, but for my foodies out there, that's right, you heard me, my foodies, I got a fucking YouTube channel for you, man. Okay, my man Harold and his wife Brianna, first off, two of the coolest people I've ever met and hung out with, all right? Class acts, the both of them. Class acts, the both of them. But you want to know what makes them even freaking better than just being cool people to hang out with? They do a badass YouTube show, okay, called the fucking Too Sweet Click, where they go up and down the LA County, going to different eateries and trying different stuff. You know what I mean? I believe they just did one where it was a super big pancake, and they've done it was a birria tacos before, and just some of the places they have gone to makes me want to drive back out there just for the food experience. So again, I don't have an ad right now, but if you are listening to this on Spotify, if you look in the descriptions, there are links to other things, and the link for their show will be in the description. So I will catch y'all around the Benskis. Peace out.
SMR Podcast Network.
You should be listening.